everybody, to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze because we understand that these systems of oppression, including capitalism, white supremacy, misogyny, transphobia, and homophobia, all that shit is holding us down. And you know what? We were born to fly, goddammit. And if we gotta burn shit down in order for us to spread our wings and fly away, sing it, y'all, to a place that I long for. Come on, y'all. Anyway, shout out to everyone that's in the building right now. I see all my people checking in. What's going on, Court? Of course, my mods in here, Mod and Strong, Chuck Diesel, Courtney the SLP, Latif, a.k.a. Khaleesi's Dragon. Know they name? Say their names. Shout out to the mods up in here. And the rest of our fire fam. We got the Nats checking in, Nat A. And of course, my sis Valley Girls. My niece Alicia is up in here. Who else we got up in here? Shout out to Shanette. Hi, Shanette. How are you doing, honey? How's school? Are we almost finished? We about ready to get that paper? Come on, Shanette. I'm so happy to see you in here. Thank you guys so much for showing up and showing out. Hello, Wendy. JG, Jonathan Guerrero is in the building. I love to see it. Love to see, of course, my bruv, Louis Kang. Louis Kang, that Patreon pre-show song today was War. The World is a Ghetto. And I said, I bet you Louis Kang rock with this joint very hard. Maybe Louis Kang on our next call-in show will sing for us. Guys and gals and non-binaries. Who else we got coming in, checking in? Listen, gang, I know this 7 p.m. on Friday is a busy time on these YouTube streams. There's a lot of our people right now doing shows. So listen, we want you to watch live as much as you are able, but of course we understand that LDI is on right now. Riot Started TV is on right now. I think Sabby is on right now. So it's a little crowded at 7 o'clock, but come on through, give us a like, a thumbs up, a share, and set us to watch later if now is not convenient. But of course, you know this chat. You know what's up with this chat, though. Who else we got up here? Vesper? Hey, sweetheart. Who else we got? Mr. X. Come through, Mr. X. Hello. I'm so happy to see everybody in the house. So anyway, thank you, AR. Welcome. So again, we've got a great show for you today. We are going to get an update on Brittany Griner, the WNBA star who has been detained in Russia for over 2 months now, being held on the suspicion of trafficking hash. I don't know what the fuck they thought Brittany Griner was doing. Brittany was over there making $1 million to hoop. Why the fuck is Brittany going to traffic some fucking hashish into Russia of all places? But anyway, not much movement on Brittany's situation, but at least some of her WNBA sistren are thinking about her. So we're going to check in with the WNBA Players Association president. She gave an interview to Robin Roberts on Good Morning America some days ago. So there's at least a tiny bit of tiny movement. People are saying Brittany's name at least, but Brittany still remains incarcerated, and we want Brittany to come home as soon as possible. We're also going to check in. I know we talk a lot about the Starbucks Workers Union, guys, and the reason that is because the Starbucks Working Union is out here putting in work. Since the beginning of the year, they have managed to unionize, I believe, 26 out of 28 stores where there had previously been none, okay? So this is a big deal. And CEO Howard Schulz, multi-billionaire Howard Schulz, is pulling out the remaining bit of his hair over the fact that all of his stores seem to be falling like dominoes to unionization. And a more perfect union, whose work we reference here all the time because it is exceptional work on that labor beat. More perfect union obtained a leaked video portion of a company-wide call where Howard Schulz is openly calling for managers to union bust. Spoiler alert, that's illegal, okay? You're not allowed to do that. And the National Labor Relations Board, as much shit as I done talked about the National Labor Relations Board sending out citations to these multi-billion-dollar union-busting corporation, they actually did something that may have some teeth, and I'll be happy to update you guys about that in just a bit. But one of the first things I wanted to lead off with, and by the way, Joe Biden bragging about how he sent Ukraine $1 billion in like 2 weeks. I'm like, nigga, that's the wrong flex, my G. That is not the correct flex for this audience, okay? Like, miss me with cutting everything for the people, for cutting people's eviction protections, for cutting people's unemployment assistance, for shorting us on the stimulus, for refusing to do anything about student loan debt. And you gonna sit there and brag, beat your chest about how you done ran Ukraine $1 billion in 2 weeks, nigga. SMD. SMD. All of it. The whole thing. Just SMD. SMD. But the first place we're going to begin, guys, gotta start with the demise of CNN Plus. If you had not heard, CNN's brand new streaming service had a grand opening, grand closing sort of flourish to its brief existence. The subscription-only service, since launching, I think just, 3 weeks ago? I don't even think it was on a month. It was crazy. After only being on the air, or rather being alive as an entity for a few short weeks, they have announced yesterday that they intend to shutter the platform effective April 30th. All the employees will be fired, and the entity known as CNN Plus will cease to exist. Now, guys, you know how I feel about CNN. I mean, you want to talk about scraping the bottom of the barrel. We can go down the line, and we will reference a few examples of CNN's mediocrity and ineptitude here in just a few moments. But the one thing that I wanted to point out about this, there's a lot of things about this, okay? I was prepared to dance all over CNN Plus's grave, but I have empathy and, of course, compassion for the journalists, for the producers, for the editors, for the tech people, for the studio folks, for the web people, for the digital team, for the graphic design bammers. I have empathy for these people because I understand how tough an industry working in media is, specifically news media. So I'm sure these folks, when offered this job to work at CNN's new streaming platform, jumped, right? Now, I don't think CNN has a good reputation, but I think perhaps my opinion is that of the minority, I suppose, of most American journalists. Like, a lot of people I guess a lot of people watch CNN. I don't have a fucking clue how many people watch CNN because I ceased to watch CNN many years ago. But I just wanted to say, in the sense of sending solidarity with the workers, with the media workers, with the production workers, the tech workers, we stand in solidarity with y'all, okay? Like, it sucks that y'all lost y'all gig, and I'm sorry that happened to you. With that said, CNN, garbage. And it doesn't shock me that what happened to CNN Plus happened to CNN Plus. Can I point out, by the way, shout out to Jordan Jones from Black Power Media. Jordan sent us all an email today congratulating us on 1 year of the Remix Morning Show over on Black Power Media. Yay, that was a fun time had by all. But Jordan very astutely reminded us that even within that short duration of time that CNN Plus was operational, part of the reason that they shuttered it is because it drew such few subscribers. The number I recall reading was around 10,000, right? 10,000 subscribers to a platform with the weight of marketing and brand and name recognition as CNN. 10,000. Y'all know how many followers and subscribers Black Power Media got? Do you know? We are stomping strong over 16,000. So teeny tiny Black Power Media on YouTube has more of an audience and has managed to amass more of an audience than CNN Plus, who had the backing of, at the time, Time Warner Media and a $300 million investment. Imagine what Black Power Media could do with $300 million. Imagine what Burn It Down Kim Brown could do with a fraction of $300 million, okay? But to me, that is a perfect example of the corporatization of mainstream media outlets, okay? They are profit-generating engines. They are not necessarily vessels of principled journalism, ethical journalism that is bringing the stories to the people that truly affect people's lives. I despise CNN and MSNBC for their corporate stance, for their corporate positions on many issues, right? Also, for the way that they always back the U.S. state line, particularly when it comes to military engagements or shit that the U.S. Wants favorable coverage of pertaining to their interests globally, right? CNN and MSNBC and the like, they don't try to uncover the truth, okay? They show up at the State Department press conferences and recite whatever the fuck Anthony Blinken said or whomever the undersecretary and the spokesperson for the Secretary of State. They just go up there and repeat the shit, okay? They don't actually try to uncover the truth. And I've seen it happen. Okay, you guys know how old I am. So I have been consuming news media for over half my life. And specifically, I can recall both during the Gulf War, the first war in Iraq in 91, and then after 9/11, the invasions of Iraq and Afghanistan. Like CNN was complicit, as all media was complicit, in manufacturing that consent, right? And they continue to do that right now. They don't have a problem repeating shit that is obviously lies, things that could very easily be debunked. And we're seeing that happen right now with this war in Ukraine. Consent has been manufactured, okay? And CNN has been right there reporting misinformation, mistruths, avoiding the fact that there are openly Nazis fighting the Russians. And it's really strange to me that American media is loath to report that fact. But obviously it has to be intentional at some point, right? Like this is everything that the news media does, corporate news media does, is extremely intentional to continue to assuage public opinion towards the ultimate goals of state and capital as well. And when you think about the amount of money, again, hold on, can I shout out the journalists? I mean, y'all, they got Audie Cornish to leave NPR and go on over there to CNN Plus. Who else did they have? They had Jamel Hill and Carrie Champion. Cool. And who else did they have? Oh, right. They got Chris Wallace funky ass to leave Fox News to come on over to CNN Plus. Chris Wallace, by the way, one of those sons of bitches who was born on third and swore he hit a triple. One of the spawn of the elite who thinks that he probably is still getting gigs because he's such a quality journalist. No, nigga. Mike Wallace was your daddy. Okay, let's keep it a fucking buck. You ain't no premier journalist out here. Your daddy just happened to be the right daddy for you to stay employed. So anywho, but anyway, yeah. I send empathy to all the journalists except Chris Wallace. Except Chris Wallace. But let's see. So pop up A2 for me, Tunde. So there's some aspects about this whole demise that I just wanted to point out to everybody. So I was worried. It's like speaking about the status of the employees, according to this Axios article, what they intend to do, the merger, the new company that is, Warner Brothers, Warner Media, linked up with Discovery, and they decided that, the CNN Plus streaming venture wasn't in their best interest because, as I did find out, actual CNN programs that air on the cable network were not available on CNN Plus. So CNN clearly overstated. they overestimated their level of popularity. Bitch, if you think someone gonna sign up for more CNN, no, I'm sorry. You guys have got that all wrong. But I love the fact that we're seeing CNN specifically crumble in some ways because, as I said, they are complicit in toting the capitalist state line when it comes to everything, when it comes to workers' rights, when it even comes to climate change. All of their reporting is lopsided. They never fully engage nor address the main polluters, the main drivers of climate change. It's all, you have to buy an electric car. Or if you want to save the planet, try composting. It's like you guys are missing the big fucking picture here, but they are missing it intentionally and on purpose. But CNN is coming out of a bit of a rough period. Their head, Jeff Zucker, was ousted because he carried on an inappropriate sexual relationship with one of his underlings. He also allowed Chris Cuomo, the brother of disgraced former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, to engage in very lighthearted banter with his brother, the elected official, and just let them shoot the shit while Andrew Cuomo was lying about COVID deaths and copping feels amongst his assistants. You know, they didn't think none of that was a big deal until the shit hit the fan. When very blatantly in journalistic terms, especially when it comes to ethics in journalism, ain't no fucking way Andrew Cuomo should allowed to have been on Chris Cuomo's show yucking it up as the Cuomo brothers. Okay, grossly inappropriate, blatant conflict of interest, and really should have cemented to a lot of people why CNN should be wholly discredited as a network, as a credible news outlet. I think you can count on CNN to show up to shit and with cameras and good live footage. Clearly, they have the resources for that. But their journalistic philosophy, their news philosophy is boo-boo and garbage. And I know CNN likes to think itself as the middle of the road. CNN is the true center because MSNBC is the left and Fox is the right and CNN is the middle. Bullshit. CNN, also garbage. Also garbage. And we root for the demise of CNN as an entity. Obviously, you know, jobs, as I've said, we stand with workers, but fuck CNN, okay? Fuck them, fuck them, fuck them. The other thing that I wanted to point out has to do with the continued corporatization of media. And this is something that we have been seeing, and it's getting worse, right? There are fewer and fewer outlets to share varied perspectives and voices. So that's why so many times a lot of these mainstream cable outlets sound very, very similar. And that consolidation all began in 1996 under President Bill Clinton with the signing of the 1996 Telecommunications Act, which allowed media consolidation to mushroom, to absolutely explode. And not only did that cause fewer jobs to be available, but fewer points of view, fewer perspectives, and certainly fewer resources allotted to investigative journalism. Okay, so when we get a good investigative piece, which is why I cannot stop praising Cerise Castle as a journalist for that amazing expose that she did about the Los Angeles Sheriff's deputy gangs, Google LASD gangs, because and y'all remember Cherise came on this show and told us she pitched that idea. She pitched it to a number of so-called mainstream outlets, and they're like, "Who's interested in that?" We are. The people who are getting fucked up by the police are extremely interested in knowing whether or not these people are legally or tacitly engaged in illegal activities, which we already knew, but the fact that there are actual gangs is a big fucking deal. And the fact that that story was not picked up. I know Rolling Stone sort of did a piggyback piece on Cerise's initial investigative series, but I don't know, do y'all watch cable news? Did cable news ever pick that up? Did they ever talk about the LASD gangs? Do they even mention that shit in the context of Sheriff Villanueva? I'm curious. Hey, Anna Hart, good to see you, baby. What's up, Schultz 100? I know. I love Therese too, Anna. Therese is amazing. She's amazing. She epitomizes to me, speak softly and carry a big stick. She and our dear sweet, well, not departed, she's on the planet, Genevieve. Therese and Genevieve actually remind me a lot of each other. But yes, what's up, Infinite Content? What's going on? Where was I? Let me get back to where I was. So the Telecommunications Act helped to hasten and exacerbate the corporatization of news media. So that is why people like me and Jackie Lukman work at outlets like The Real News, like Sputnik News, because like our political slant is not even counted, right? It is, and you guys know this. I mean, politically, the left of the left is ignored. At best, progressives get some lukewarm coverage, but none of the ideas and theories and philosophies and actions and policy proposals of the left ever get fully fleshed out on mainstream cable news. If it's not coming from a DNC or RNC strategist or some former elected official, the fact that Simone Sanders and Jen Psaki are getting shows on MSNBC, for example, is a disgrace. It is a disgrace to journalism. But again, on brand, highly on brand for corporate mainstream media. So, so just some quick details about the layoff. So CNN Plus ceases operations April 30th. Most employees, according to this Axios piece, are going to get 90 days severance and opportunities to apply to jobs within the Warner Discovery family, which is extensive, by the way. The properties that Warner and Discovery own are a lot. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of jobs. I mean, this was a multi-billion-dollar merger. But the crazy thing is, like I said, they have an opportunity to apply for jobs within the Warner Discovery family. If they don't find jobs after the conclusion of that 90-day severance, or severance gets extended to 6 months, bitch, guess who would be chilling for 6 fucking months with a fucking 6 month severance? I'd apply for all jobs I was not qualified for. Yes, I would love to be the head studio lighter. Let me apply for the job. And I will apply for all the lighting jobs, all the fucking sound jobs, shit that I know I ain't getting because 6 months severance. How about that? So as I guess severance goes in 2022, that's something, because a lot of us, you know what it is. Severance is hard to come by these days. The other aspect that I wanted to touch on briefly has to do with the credibility of mainstream outlets and why they should not be classified as credible at all. You know, CNN specifically, if you look at, again, the Cuomo debacle, the Jeff Zucker debacle, the kind of yahoos that they will generally hire, period, like fucking Van Jones and Brian Stelter. It is high time that we as consumers, and again, I know that we little right now, but what I hope is that some of the things that we talk about here on this platform, you guys go back into your circles, whom I know cannot be wholly radical, right? I know y'all have a bunch of liberals hanging around you. Some of y'all might even have some conservatives hanging around you. And I hope some of the shit that we talk about here, y'all go and drop them, sprinkle them as little seeds of questioning to those in your environment, to those in your community. And when I think about the shit that I have seen CNN report upon and get wrong personally, the day of the Boston Marathon bombing, John King, and this is on YouTube, by the way, perhaps I should have pulled it, but John King got on CNN and said that a law enforcement source told him that the person that they were looking for, the suspect that they were looking for, was, quote, a dark-skinned Saudi Arabian. Okay, dark-skinned Saudi Arabian. That kind of misinformation, John King never cited his source, by the way, just a source, an official close to law enforcement tells me the suspect description is that of a dark-skinned Saudi Arabian. Well, turns out the Boston Marathon bombers, 2 white guys, okay, 2 white guys. Didn't resemble nothing close to a dark-skinned Saudi Arabian. That's one. The other thing happened, again, there's lots of examples. These are the ones I'm just recounting off the top of my stoner brain. So imagine the shit that I actually know that is just lost under piles of resin, layers of resin in my brain. If you guys go to my Instagram page at Kim Brown Talks, and you're going to have to scroll that junk for a minute, but like, because there was lots of years that I was posting nothing on Instagram because I was like, Anyway, I have 2 clips on my IG page of the Baltimore uprisings after the murder of Freddie Gray. And one of these CNN fuckers was out there walking the streets of Baltimore, and he had the audacity to approach, at the time, I think Kevin Liles was head of Def Jam Records. Kevin Liles is a Baltimore native. Kevin Liles resembles a lot Russell Simmons, okay? But, you know, you kind of got to be able to tell black people apart or know who Kevin Liles is and understand that he is not Russell Simmons, okay? So this motherfucker is walking, doing a live shot, talking to Kevin Louse, and actually had the audacity to tell Kevin Louse to his face that he was lying. He was like, this man tells me he's Kevin Louse. I actually think he's Russell Simmons, and he might be lying to me. And I'm like, really? You just gonna call this man a liar on live national television because you can't tell your niggas apart. Got it. And did I mention they hired Van Jones? It's a clown show over on CNN. Let's not even discuss the number of hires and how they like to entertain open Nazis, in my opinion. They entertain people who have white supremacist slants in the interest of fairness, in the interest of hearing out both sides. The media has largely, first of all, and the biggest faux pas that they did was emboldening Donald Trump, right? Cable news media can specifically take a bow for the ascension of Trump as a legitimate political figure. Because even before he threw his hat in the ring to run for president, CNN would routinely go ask Donald Trump shit about global affairs, nothing pertaining to business. They would ask him about American foreign policy and domestic policy. Why the fuck are you asking Donald Trump about any of this shit? Because they glorify the perspective of the rich, white, cisgender man as the top level of expertise on anything, okay? All you got to do is be rich, white, and male, straight, helps a lot. And CNN will stick a microphone in your face and ask you what the fuck you think about what's happening anywhere on the planet. And anytime, and when Trump finally did begin his presidential campaign in earnest, CNN would routinely break away from their programming and cover Trump's rallies live for sometimes hours at a time, okay? They elevated him, they legitimized him, they gave him a serious political platform, and they can single-handedly, well, not just single-handedly, I love to shit specifically on CNN, and it's not just them, but they absolutely played a role, and they played their part in giving Donald Trump some sort of validation that he absolutely did not deserve. And not to say that Trump is the worst thing that ever happened to America, but he's pretty high. he's pretty high up there. And the media did that. The media did that, and the media was able to do that because in Trump they saw themselves, right? The media is overwhelmingly white, overwhelmingly male, okay? And that is the most legitimate perspective from their perspective, right? They see themselves in these politicians. They see themselves in these power brokers. And they're not interested in telling regular people's stories unless it fits some sort of state narrative or corporate narrative for that matter. So, deuces to CNN Plus, but, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. And y'all tune in and subscribe to Black Power Media. And of course, this channel right here, Burn It Down with Kim Brown, because we're going to give you all the shit that CNN wouldn't even think of giving you. So there is that. Quick pause for the cause, gang, gang. Do us a favor if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Take a moment and hit subscribe, like the video, share us if you are so if you so want to, if you feel like it. Follow us places around the internet. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at BIDWKB. I want to thank some of our most generous supporters for sending us some bucks. Latif, thank you so much for your bucks. Thank you to James Alexander, who is a new patron. We appreciate that. Shout out to Quaker Socialists, who edited their Patreon pledge, Northwood. We appreciate that, dearest. Shout out to Patrick Swiger, who cashed apped us some bucks. Shout out to Hector, who cashed apped us some bucks. We appreciate the support, gang, and we totally need it because we are Black women independent media, okay? And the only way, we don't have 300 million. Can you imagine the audacity of these corporations literally pissing away $300 million in 3 weeks? I mean, it doesn't shock me because they got it to piss away, but as a small channel, as a channel that would like to do all kinds of amazing journalism, but resources, I won't say disappointing, but it's expected. Let's put it that way. But anyway, if you want to support us, you can do so. Cash App, $BIDWKB. We're on Venmo at BIDWKB, Patreon.com/BIDWKB, and PayPal.me/BIDWKB. We really appreciate anything that you're able to do. And by the way, we do have some merch offerings. Actually, if you click on the link that's at the pinned post in the chat, that'll take you to all of our linkages. Moving along, gang. Well, I mean, Jesus, this is like, we get to stomp everybody out today, huh? We got to stomp out CNN, and we definitely going to stomp out Joe Biden. Man, and I don't believe in elder abuse. I don't think we should abuse our elders. But that one time Joe Biden tripped up the stairs, I was rooting for the stairs. I'm like, come on, stairs. Come on, stairs. Hop up there and trip his ass one good time. And I know you shouldn't wish harm upon people, and normally I do not, but we can exclude Joe Biden from that because Joe Biden has perpetuated so much harm on us, specifically as working class people, as poor people, as brown and black people. I think it's okay to wish some harm. On Joe Biden. I think he has fucking earned it. And let's take a look at this, gang. So, if you could pop up that B1 for me, Tunde. I saw this shit yesterday, and I said, you know what, Joe Biden, you should have kept that in the drafts, homie. You should have kept that one in the drafts, homie, because this ain't the flex you think it is, Joe Biden. The president tweeted today, the United States is announcing that we intend to provide an additional $500 million in direct economic assistance to the Ukrainian government. Direct economic assistance. This brings our total economic support for Ukraine to $1 billion in the past 2 months. Can you imagine a motherfucker that owe you money, right? Owe you money. No, we owe you money, right? And this motherfucker gonna be like, yeah, man, I just had to break my other homie off with a bunch of dollars. And it's like, nigga, what? Wait a second. Run me my bucks. Joe Biden, in the midst of an ongoing pandemic, I know the government and the television and the corporations and the airlines and everybody and the dumbass judge down in Florida wants to tell everybody that the fucking pandemic is over. It ain't. But Joe Biden has made sure that any kind of help coming to Americans, well, not just Americans, anybody that lives here, ain't no money for that, man. We didn't say 2,000 stimulus. We said that it was going to be combined 2,000. The 1,400 Trump gave you plus this little bit of 600. It's like, wait a second. Wait. That shit don't add up, pimp. The eviction protections are gone. All of Joe Biden's campaign promises that had to do with providing direct economic assistance to people who most needed it in the country of which he is president. No, we can't get the rest of our stimulus. We can't get free community college. We can't get Medicare for all or even anything close to it. We can't get student loan debt forgiven. Can't get any of that because Ukraine just got $1 billion of our dollars in 2 months. And he is actually on television, on social media, like bragging about this. And let me say this, gang. So when I say I'm not into conspiracy theories, like I will listen to a conspiracy theory. Chances are I'm not going down a rabbit hole to try to pursue it because no, no. I would need an Adderall prescription for that. So my focus does not allow me to go down rabbit holes of things of which I'm not certain. But I have to say, the amount of ridiculous military support and now $1 billion cash, that's straight cash, homie. Economic assistance means straight cash, homie, right? $1 billion cash and north of $13 billion in military assistance. Nigga, does Zelensky got the sex tape on Joe Biden or Hunter Biden or what? I understand they want to contain Russia, and it's not legit. What I mean is I understand that that is U.S. and NATO's intention to contain Russia. It's not legit. Fuck NATO and fuck the U.S. But I understand, right? I recognize it. I acknowledge that. But all this shit, it cannot be a coincidence that Joe Biden's son had dealings in this specific country, right? I don't know what the fuck was on Hunter Biden's laptop, nigga. I don't care. but I know that this level of, can we call it unprecedented support in the modern era? I mean, what country in Europe, let's be specific here, what country in Europe has the United States offered this level of support to? I know we support the shit out of Israel. Who else we run a lot of money to? I know we do support NATO to the tune of many billions. But I can't remember the U.S. going this hard. And the whole Bosnia-Kosovo thing, they actually sent U.S. troops in there. So I don't know if they was running Bosnia and Serbia. I don't know if they was running them actual money. Maybe they was. But anyway, like, to me, this is doing too much. This is doing way too much. Given the state of things in the United States, given the fact that we are teetering on the brink of possibly an economic recession, with the amount of inflation doesn't seem to be tamping down at all. Everything continues to go up price-wise in goods and services, in food and produce, and in everything. Everything is going up. The housing market is out of control. The rental crisis is obscene. What they are charging people for rent these days is ridiculous. And the amount that people are spending to purchase homes, woo! It's feeling mighty 2007 around these parts, doesn't it, kids? It's feeling mighty Great Recession, housing bubble bursting, don't it? I mean, it feels like that is on the horizon. I think that our economic situation is about to get way worse. And for Joe Biden to brag that he is sending billions of our tax dollars, I can't even imagine the amount of money that defense contractors like BAE Systems, Raytheon, Boeing, who else is over some of them other pieces of shit, Jonathan, all them motherfuckers. I mean, they are getting rich off this Ukraine war, right? And Biden has been there for all of these recent wars, the wars in Iraq, the wars in Afghanistan. Like, Biden has been right fucking there. So he undoubtedly knows that he is boosting up the military industrial complex, which is, of course, as his U.S. president, his job. That is his job. But Biden needs to understand, for certain aspects of the would-be Democratic base, you bragging about sending Ukraine billions while we are here struggling mightily, that's going to maybe cost you some votes, Slim. Trump's not on the ballot in 2022 for these midterm elections. It's not clear if Trump's going to be on the ballot in 2024. So what is Joe Biden going to run on? A slate of broken promises, a banner of mission accomplished in Ukraine. I'm not buying it. But let's let Joe Biden tell us, out of his own mouth. And what's interesting to me is what we're going to hear first is Biden talking about the food shortages. This was a month ago as a result of this Russian sanctions. And then Biden yesterday announcing new economic stimulus, aid, assistance for Ukraine. So out one side of his neck, Americans can expect food shortages. Out the other side of his neck, nigga, we just ran Ukraine another billion. Them two messages do not go together. Let's take a listen to Joe Robinette Biden.
With regard to food shortages, yes, we did talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example, just to give you one example. But we had a long discussion in the G7 with with both the United States, which has a significant, the third largest producer of wheat in the world, as well as Canada, which is also a major, major producer. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. In addition to that, we talked about urging all the European countries and everyone else to end trade restrictions on sending limitations on sending food abroad. And so we are in the process of working out with our European friends what it would take to help alleviate the concerns relative to food shortage. I'm announcing another $800 million to further augment Ukraine's ability to fight in the east, in the Donbass region. This package includes heavy artillery weapons, dozens of howitzers, and 144,000 rounds of ammunition to go with those howitzers. It also includes more tactical drones. We're sending it directly to the front lines of freedom.
Directly to the front lines of freedom, not to the front lines of Americans who are facing an eviction crisis as rents continue to go northward, soar northward, skyward. They did a story here that rents in the DC area have gone up 17% over the past year. The average rental price for a one-bedroom apartment in DC is $2,400. $2,400. So anyway, but Joe Biden is determined to make sure that Ukraine got everything it needs, right? Fuck us. Is Ukraine okay? Can we make sure that Ukraine lights is on? Can we make sure that Ukraine got all the things that they need? Can you just, the audacity. And again, for the media to sit there and basically accept this as standard, like as this is normal. It is totally normal for the United States to be economically propping up the military and the economy of another country. I guess that is normal, depending on your perspective. But not during down economic times. Fuck what the unemployment rate is. I think that shit's some bullshit too. Oh, the unemployment rate is at record lows. Yes, nigga, because motherfuckers stop looking for work, okay? And people who are no longer looking for work but are of working age are not counted among the unemployment numbers. So that unemployment number, in my opinion, is artificially low. But for Biden to say, for one, it is folly. It is absolutely global leadership and especially NATO leadership folly to impose wheat sanctions on Russia or to prevent Russian wheat from coming to market. So you're going to cause a global food shortage to own Russia. People are going to go hungry and not be able to eat because it is more important to contain Russia militarily than to feed actual people. Okay? This is, if we think that the Republicans are a death cult, okay, I think it's pretty fair to slap that death cult moniker onto the Democrats as well. Because, again, U.S. foreign policy is what it is, regardless of who's in the White House. And they absolutely don't have a problem harming us because we are just the engines of labor, right? We are disposable, as COVID has shown us, okay? We are absolutely disposable. What's not disposable is the multi-billions on billions on billions, which absolutely they do waste. But they would prefer to make sure that billions finds its hands in the hands of other rich people or other merchants of death before they even consider redistributing it to us so we can actually live and survive. It's disgusting. Tom, I saw your comment there. I'm not going to repeat it because I'm not exactly sure what's happening out here on these YouTube streets. Now, I was listening to a local radio program, a news program today. It's a Radio 1 station in Baltimore. It's WOLB. And it's an AM station. My mother listens to it, right? And I was on the phone with my mother while she was listening to it. And on Friday mornings, they have a coalition of older black folks sit around and talk politics. And my nigga, I highly recommend it because for the accents, yes, I strongly recommend if you want to tune in and listen to some good, genuine, authentic Baltimore accents. It's worth it. But it's interesting to me to hear how our elders see things. And one of the segments that they got on today was they had a big argument about Ukraine and Russia. And kids, I am so highly disappointed in our people being, not even talk about Africans in Ukraine, right? They is invested in Zelensky and Putin, okay? And I'm like, what? But why? But why? Why is this of importance to us? Again, I'm talking about the superficial way that they're reporting it, right? The elders who are reporting it, like, well, Zelensky is out there trying to do his best and try to save his country, and Putin is just coming in try to take everything over, and we got to stop him. Who is we? Who? Who is we? Why we got to stop? Who is the we? Who is the we that you referred to? But I said all that to say, Shode, it's wild to me some of the positions that people are taking on Ukraine and the U.S. military involvement, or speculative about whether or not there will be U.S. military involvement. But fuck, if we send in military weapons, bitch, the military is involved, okay? Whether or not we got troops on the ground or not. And by the way, Biden keeps fucking up and saying troops, and then he corrects himself. I saw a portion of that clip that we did include. He was like, yeah, we're trying to get them all the troops that they need. I mean, supplies that their troops need. That's like, okay, are you telling on yourself? Are you giving us some Freudian slips here, Joe? Are you intending on sending U.S. troops into Ukraine to fight Russian forces? Oh, I'm sure that'll be great. That'll end well. That's not going to be good at all. But I'm sorry. Like, I need specifically our people to disinvest themselves from literally the personality conflict between Zelensky and Putin. That is not Black folks' concern. Should not be Black Americans' concern in the least. What should be the concern is the further escalation and ramping up of the U.S. military-industrial complex. We need to be more concerned about Joe Biden promising to give police more billions of dollars. And as we see with Patrick Lyoya, as we see with so many other people that have been murdered and gunned down by police recently and not so recently, these needs to be our focus. When motherfuckers start talking goofy to me about Putin, nigga, I mean, I don't even know the Russian word for nigga. I'm sure they have one. But have y'all heard Putin say this? Have you heard Putin say, fuck the niggas? No. Did Putin break a bunch of campaign promises to us? No. So I need for Black folks to reassess the way we view ourselves in some of these global struggles. We are Americans by birth. We are not Americans by privilege, right? In the sense that we should not be patriotic and be rooting for the U.S. to win. And bitch, a lot of people talking this Zelensky versus Putin shit are not even clear as to who is the bad guy. Like, they don't even fully understand who is actually the villain in all of this. And Joe Biden has to have some sort of personal interest in this. Like, I mean, there has to be other Soviet states on the periphery of the Russian borders that the U.S. could focus its attention on if you trying to add more NATO members. There's something particular about Ukraine and the Bidens, plurals, dealings in Ukraine. There's got to be something else going on here. But again, I can't go down that rabbit hole because I need to check out Aaron Mate, actually. I wonder if Aaron has made some Oh, okay, sorry. I'm very curious as to whether or not the gray zone has gone down that path, because there's something there. There is definitely something there. So I wanted to move along, gang, because this Starbucks situation continues to evolve, and it's extremely interesting to me because this is the most union activity that we have seen probably in a generation. We have not seen this much labor activity and excitement around union organizing in a long time. Gen X, have y'all seen this ever? I'm Gen X. I'm trying to think of when I've seen a unionization effort like this that has been so quickly mobilized and seemingly very successful out of the gate. So The breaking news is that the roastery in Seattle, a very significant location for Starbucks, obviously in Starbucks' hometown, but the roastery has particular significance, and they won their union. They won their union election. More Perfect Union also reported not that long ago that Starbucks in Colorado, a Starbucks in Colorado also won their election, becoming the first Starbucks in that state to win its union. And I think the number is just shy of 30 total Starbucks stores that have voted to accept the union, right? Which is a big deal. That's a big deal. And let me say this. If you guys watch BPM, you guys remember the other day, maybe a week or so ago, from, I think, where's Netfa from? I know Netfa's from DC, Netfa Freeman, but I can't remember. Is he with Black Alliance for Peace, or is he with the All African People's Revolutionary Party? Either way, Netfa, when he was on BPM, he said something very profound that has actually stuck with me. So sometimes when I get down and I see the planet on fire, and I see people getting shot down by police, and I see workers being constantly exploited and all the bad things, the thing that Netfa said that stuck with me was, part of the reason why the system is going so hard to clamp down on shit is because maybe we're actually closer to victory than we think. The reason why they're so scared and running scared is because they recognize their weaknesses and their vulnerabilities. And they may be closer to collapse sooner than we thought. So perhaps the going extra hard to make sure that the status quo remains is because they clearly see the writing on the wall. And I think that is the case with Starbucks CEO Howard Schulz, okay? If we crew up C1 there, Brother Tunde. This is from More Perfect Union, gang. Starbucks CEO says more union busting. In an exclusive leaked video called Starbucks CEO Howard Schulz begged managers to increase their union busting. The billionaire CEO blasted unionizing. He blasted unionizing hourly employees as, quote, so-called workers. Oh, shit. And, quote, some outside force that's going to dictate or disrupt who we are and what we can do. So the series of clips that we're about to watch is going to be Starbucks CEO Howard Schulz in this leaked video call obtained exclusively by More Perfect Union. You're also going to hear Howard Schulz. Did I say Howard Stern? I meant to say Howard Schulz. You're also going to hear Howard Schulz smear the Starbucks Workers Union, claiming that they are bullying people into joining the union, that people are being intimidated into joining the union. And the other person you're going to see in these clips is Roseanne Williams, who is Starbucks President of North America. And she was also on this call. And gang, it is extremely important that we pay very close attention to the words that are coming out of these people's mouths. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. It's a bunch of damn lies. These people is lying, because they don't want to split no profits with workers. Nope, you just be a little lonely barista for the rest of your life, making $11 an hour maybe at Starbucks forever. And these people work too hard and they deserve way more. So let's take a listen to this wonderful clip obtained by More Perfect Union of Starbucks CEO Howard Schulz and the president of Starbucks North America, Roseanne Williams, blatantly call for union busting, which, by the way, is illegal. Let's take a look.
We've always managed to overcome the obstacles, the challenges. The resiliency of the company is directly related to the leadership that you have provided. But the challenges right now are real and they're in front of us. And the challenges are multiple. The pandemic, a post-pandemic customer, the relationship we have with our customers, competitive threats, and now a new outside force that's trying desperately to disrupt our company. Well, I believe in Starbucks more than ever because I believe in all of you. My faith and confidence in the future of Starbucks is based on my faith and confidence in you, not some outside force that's going to dictate or disrupt what we are and who we are and what we do. One of the responsibilities in this changing world that we have right now of a store manager, of a district manager, of an RDO, is to really understand who the people in our stores are, to talk to them specifically about the role and responsibility that we have as a company to them and their families, and to encourage them to really understand what it might mean to vote for a union. And so it's critically important that everyone chooses to vote. Now, there are stories, I wasn't there, but there are stories that people potentially have been bullied not to vote. Think about that. That's not the Starbucks way.
All of us are watching social media and all the stories that are coming out and the tweets that are coming out and the stories that I know personally. I have been in those stores with those partners. I have not seen some of the stories that people are saying are truths. Please do your role as a store manager. Make sure your partners get balanced information about what's going on, especially in this role of us union busting all over the country. I was in Buffalo for 4 months with our proud partners in Buffalo. I saw day to day what those partners did to run the very best stores they could, but all the culture and their love in the community and their coffee. Proud Starbucks partners. There was no union busting going on there. We're just trying to make sure that every single partner has a right to have their voice heard. So please, partners, don't believe everything you see in social media. For those of you that have reached out, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for me to see and hear how some partners are talking about the company that I love. It's heartbreaking to hear those that don't know who we are say things that I know not to be true.
Okay, whatever you say there, Roseanne. She said she was in Buffalo for 4 months. And yes, I think she was in Buffalo, which is probably an amazing use of company resources. Yes, let's let this lady stay in probably 5-star accommodations for 4 whole months when you actually could have just paid your workers. And in Buffalo, by the way, were the first stores to unionize. So that should actually tell you something. The fact that she went there, stayed in Buffalo for 4 months to try to dissuade Starbucks partners from joining the union, and they managed to unionize 2 out of the 3 stores there in Buffalo. Way to go. Way to go, Roseanne. You did a bang-up job. If you could pop up C2 for me, Tunde. This was a scoop reported by labor journalist Jordan Zakarian. Okay, and it says, scoop. The National Labor Relations Board just hit Starbucks. Yes, guys, pay attention. Just hit Starbucks with yet another lawsuit over brutal union busting and firing workers in Arizona. Much more to come on that situation and other union busting tactics over the next few days. And guys, I want you guys, pay attention to this as you're able, because if you remember, here on this program, we shared with you the story of 19-year-old Layla Dalton from Arizona, who worked at Starbucks for 3 years before she was summarily fired for trying to organize her coworkers. This National Labor Relations Board lawsuit against Starbucks is in part because of the retaliation that Layla suffered. 19 years old. And the whole reason why this lawsuit is being filed, basically, is because Layla had a presence of mind to record that unfair 2-on-1 meeting in which she was extremely distraught, extremely upset. She was being bullied. She was being reprimanded for having the audacity to be sick and be hospitalized. She was being punished, all for her efforts, right? All for her efforts. So we're going to keep an eye on this, because I have to say, I am skeptical about, to the extent of what the National Labor Relations Board is going to do. I am encouraged that they filed a lawsuit. Oh, and by the way, Starbucks filed a grievance, I believe, with the NLRB against the Starbucks Workers Union, which, by the way, from what I was able to ascertain on social media, members of the Starbucks Workers Union thought that was pretty cute, considering that there have been dozens, I think at least 80 unfair labor practices, grievance and complaints filed with the National Labor Relations Board against Starbucks. So Starbucks has filed one. they have many dozens filed against them. Last but not least, gang, before I get you out of here, I wanted to get you updated on the situation with Brittany Griner. And I have to say, what the clip that I'm about to play you is 9 days old, and I was truly surprised that I missed it. So, Brittany Griner is somewhat back in the news because there has been WNBA news, okay? There was the WNBA draft was held recently, and I mean, Brittany is that bitch. I mean, she is one of the top elite players in this league, and Brittany's presence is drastically being missed. And the whole weird culture of silence about speaking out on behalf of Brittany's plight, even trying to bring attention to Brittany's plight, I find that really weird. I find that really weird because to me, the squeaky wheel gets the attention, right? Gets the oil. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. And I feel as though that there has got to be some pressure being put upon her family and friends from, I would imagine, it has to be the State Department telling them not to say nothing about Brittany. Who the fuck else would tell them to be quiet about Brittany? So anyway, I want you guys to take a look at this clip. This was on Good Morning America. Robin Roberts was interviewing Nneka Ogwumike. Nneka is the WNBA Players Association president. And she, so far, I think, has given some of the most candid comments about Brittany's situation, and also being very vocal in expressing her solidarity. Not only her solidarity, but all the ladies in the WNBA are standing with Brittany and want Brittany to come home. Let's take a look at that clip.
Given the nature of Brittany's situation, when it happened, it was very important for us to be intentional about doing the best thing to ensure that we don't compromise her coming home. And so a lot of that had to do with educating ourselves about the details of what was going on as much as we could know, but then understanding how important it was for us to be strategic about when and how we speak about her.
All that being said, a lot in the public, they say, if this were an NBA star like Brittany, that it would be daily news. Do you think a gender issue is at play here?
I mean, when is it not? You know, you advocate for us in so many respects. You know, it's disappointing that the question of, it being a gender issue is top of mind now when it comes to this type of circumstance. But the reality is, she's over there because of a gender issue, pay inequity. I played in Russia for 4 years. I played in Poland for 1 year. I played in China for 2 years. We go over there to supplement our incomes. And quite frankly, we go over there to maintain our game. You know, our teams encourage us to keep up with our game by going over there and being more competitive. So there's so much that's at play that, we live politically, intrinsically.
And I'm glad you brought up about the pay difference, because over in Russia, and top players can make upwards of $1 million.
Yeah.
And the top base salary in the WNBA is $228,000. You played in Russia. What was it like?
I had a good experience in Russia. I think that obviously the circumstances are very different.
Yes.
I had been playing in China shortly after Russia, but we don't want to play 12 months out of the year. We want to play over here. We're treated well. I mean, that is the truth, but we don't want to feel as though we have to go over there to get what we want to get at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you all are so strong together. The draft was great last night.
Amazing.
I know, and I'm very excited about the expectations going forward. And also, Brittany's team, Phoenix Mercury, they are going to continue a program that she launched many years ago, those people who are experiencing homelessness, helping them. And the whole league is going to be involved with that. Can you tell us more?
Absolutely. We're going to continue to uplift BG's community engagement. She started BG's Heart and Soul. She was giving those affected by homelessness in Phoenix shoes out of her car. And so we're going to continue to uplift that in true BG fashion. She's our sister. And as a league, we do everything together. We mobilize and energize each other. And so for us to be able to do that until she gets back, that's top priority for us. We have to continue to be one and move as one.
Nneka Ogwumike, the WNBA Players Association president and WNBA All-Star in her own right. And you heard her say a number of very honest things there, that when she has traveled and played abroad in Russia, China, Poland, that she was treated very well, right? And I'm sure she appreciated the pay that she received abroad more so than they receive here in the U.S. And again, it's a shame because basically gender pay inequity is why Brittany was over there in Russia in the first fucking place. I'm glad that she's treated well. I'm glad that these women athletes are treated the way that they deserve to be treated, with all and respect for their athletic prowess. But it is unfortunate, and it is really a stain on this country and the way that women are treated and paid, particularly Black women. And even though Brittany, because she is preeminent in her skill level, is at the very top of the pay grade for the WNBA, I mean, she made 5 times what her WNBA salary is in Russia. And by the way, the Phoenix Mercury, according to ESPN, intend to keep Brittany on their roster. I think they're going to maybe classify her as suspended. Don't quote me on that, but what they are going to do is continue to pay her salary through this coming season. And my God, I hope Brittany is way home before the WNBA season is over. Like, I'm not bullish on her outcomes simply because I am not confident in the Biden administration's ability to diplomatically secure her release. Obviously, Russia wants something for Brittany, and the Biden administration is clearly not going to give it to them. So in Russia, Brittany shall remain. And it's been reported, and NECA actually said in the earlier part of that interview that we didn't include, that Brittany's people have been in touch with her, that she has legal representation there who meets with her twice a week. And apparently she's in good spirits, right? As good spirits as to be expected. But at the end of the day, Brittany is not home. Brittany is not in Phoenix. Brittany is not in Houston with her folks, with her parents and her siblings and her former teammates from Baylor. And until she comes home, we need to continue to talk about what's been happening to her and the fact that she is not here and that she needs to be here. Okay, very point blank. So free Brittany Griner, free Brittany Griner, free Brittany Griner. Guys, that's our show. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in on our new time, 7 p.m. on Tuesdays and Fridays Eastern. Shout out to Esther. Shout out to Uwakata. What's going on, Uwakata? Who else did I see in here that I wanted to big up? Shout out to Holly Horn. And, of course, my dearest Ursula. Oh, Ursula, it's so late. It's so late to cross the pond, my love. But it's Friday night. Are you going to go and tan up? Are you going to go tan up? You're going to tear London up as soon as you get out of this chat. It's going to be great. Tyler Hackner, thank you so much, baby. Anna, of course, Infinite Content. Love you guys to death. Y'all are our ride or dies, and we appreciate that. Don't forget our AMA for patrons is next Friday on the 30th. So if you want to become a patron so you can participate in our AMAs, they're usually a rip-roaring good time had by all. We certainly appreciate that. So gang, please don't forget, contrary to public health guidance, the COVID is definitely still out here jumping on people. People think they got the allergy sniffles. Probably got COVID. you might want to get that checked out, pimp. The COVID is still out here jumping on people. I do not want it to jump on you. Please wear a very adequate and sufficient mask. Social distance when indoors. Wash your hands. Just be careful out here, guys. It's not good, okay? On behalf of Tunde and Molly, thank you all so much. We will see you guys back here on Tuesday. Don't forget to subscribe to Black Power Media as well because we beat the shit out of CNN Plus. Bye, y'all. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend, everybody. Happy Earth Day.